All right, YouTube. It is Saturday, October 15th. I am 4 days post nasal septoplasty surgery with a correction for my nasal valve collapse. Um, Hence the cast on the nose, the black eyes. You can see the splint, and then I've got splints up inside my nose. Just some things that I want to pass along that I learned that I couldn't find pre-surgery that could possibly help somebody else out in the future. When you come home, you're gonna have the mustache gauze pad under here. What this is to catch drainage. Um, After about 2 days, I found that you can usually get rid of that. You'll want to keep it on there at nighttime, but then you'll revert just to normal, like Puffs Plus Kleenex tissues to dab your nose because you will get drainage. My surgeon opted not to use packing, which is probably a blessing because I've heard that the packing really adds a lot of pressure. So there's splints up inside, but because there is no packing, there's nothing to catch the drainage, which is going to be mucus and blood, primarily for the first 2 days. So post surgery on Tuesday, I was in there early at I think 6:30. It was just ice, constant ice all day. And what I found for ice to work was a Ziploc bag, one of the snack bags, the shorter ones. And actually just put some crushed ice and then some water in there to allow it to be more flexible, so you can go over your nose. A surgeon said he wanted it more kind of over the eyes and the side of the nose than the pressure on the nose. And by using that sandwich bag or the snack bag, it when the water or the ice melts and turns to ice water, it doesn't tend to move as much. If you use a regular like a quart size bag, is what I started off with, I had the worst time because it wanted to roll off my face because the bag is so wide and you're only using a portion of it. So I asked my wife to get me some of the snack bags, and that worked a lot better. So that's one tip that I could give you. Another thing is keep that ice on there all the time as much as you can the first 2 days. It's going to help control your bleeding. It's going to help control your pain. I had virtually, as bad as this looks, I don't think I had any pain with this so far. I stayed on top of it with the codeine that he gave me, backed up with 4 Advil. And I just kept piggybacking those back and forth for the first few days. And then I weaned myself off of the codeine and stuck with just the Advil. And I'm off that completely now. So there's no pain. You just have the sensation that you can't breathe. You had the surgery, obviously, because you couldn't breathe. It's even worse after the surgery because you have all the swelling, you have all the congestion. There's nowhere for it to drain, nowhere for it to run. So the uncomfortableness is not so much pain in the nose, but it's just the fact that you can't even breathe through your nose whatsoever. So be prepared for that. The other thing, make sure you have a humidifier for the first night, second, third night, because you are going to be breathing solely out of your mouth. And at nighttime, your second night's going to be absolute worst. You're going to have completely dry throat, where your throat's going to actually feel like you're closing and you're suffocating because it sticks. It's just so sticky, and I slept upright and you still have the same thing. So if you have the humidifier, that should help. The other thing is have water by your bed, but you can't. I found that it's hard to use a straw. So my wife had this flexible tip straw, which I thought was great. I think it's silicone. The problem is when you suck on a straw, you feel like you're sucking your brains out of your head because there's nowhere for the pressure to go. You're not getting the air to compensate for the suction that you're putting on the straw. Your ears pop. You feel like your nose is going to collapse. So what I asked her to get me was a water bottle. Gatorade has one that's got the silicone tip that you can turn upside down. Nothing comes out until you squeeze. This worked the best because you could just give yourself a little squirt and you're not sucking, and it really helps to keep your mouth moist. And I've used that ever since. So I did away with the straws. This is another one that she got, which is completely silicone, which made it nice. But like I said, the straws are actually really hard to get used to, really hard to suck out of. It created a lot more uncomfortableness than what you need to have. So being today is Saturday, I think is the first time that I've actually had some reduction in swelling inside my nose, to where things are starting to move around. And what I mean by things are starting to move around, you can feel your nasal passages starting to open up and drain a little bit. With that, you're going to get some drainage down the back of your throat, and it feels like you like a big loogie. Don't want to swallow that. Spit that stuff out. All throughout the entire first few days, you're going to have that sensation of. And you're going to have drippage blood, mucus going down the back of your throat. Don't try not to swallow it because you can probably get sick. Today was probably the most movement that I had because it was outside. It was a little bit cooler. And things started to open up where I could actually inhale a little bit. And I was able to suck some of that stuff, that nasty stuff. And boy, did I get some loogies out. So spit that stuff out. The other thing that I recommend that I found worked is a little bulb syringe that's used for like babies. You could use this to suck any of the mucus and drainage that's coming out, as opposed to wiping it with a tissue, because you'll get raw. You'll get irritated a little bit. So this thing here has been a lifesaver. And like I said, the water bottle's been a lifesaver. So that's all I have for right now. Tuesday, I think I go in and I get the splints taken out and the cast taken off. And then we'll see where we go from there. Again, they say it takes about a good 5 to 6 weeks before you start feeling your nasal passages starting to reduce in swelling. And it could be up to a year, some people say on some of the channels, as far as a total recovery. But I've heard positive, feedback from people that have had the surgery. I've been dealing with it I'm going to be 50 this year, for a long time, for my whole life. Snoring, not able to breathe. I had my turbinates lasered out. That didn't work. I tried the nose sprays. That didn't work. And it's just really hard and uncomfortable not to be able to breathe like you should be able to. So I'm hoping that this corrects it. The reason why I made a decision to do it now, my dad has the same type of anatomy, deviated septum really bad. He developed AFib due to his lack of breathing, with what we feel. So I don't want to go down that route. So I made a decision to get it done, to try and prevent that in the future, and then to make obviously a better quality of life. So I hope this helps out. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment, and I can try and answer it for you. All right, peace.